Hey, today we're going to go through Google Docs, and we're going to start at the very beginning of this whole process. So this is the Google Docs screen. Now, I do want to draw your attention to this. If you go, and let me drag my drive over here. So we got this on the same little doc. You can always just go to New, and you can go to New Google Doc right there as well. Okay, so, but otherwise you can go to docs.google.com. Now, once we have this, you've got a bunch of different templates that you can use. I'm just going to create a blank one right off the bat, and I'm going to call this one. We can change the name of our document up here as soon as we get this. So I'm going to call this one Toss This. All right, so there we go, Toss This. Now, let me get this a little bit more stable here. All right, so there's a couple things you can do. First of all, you're going to notice over here, you can kind of center this if you want. So I'm going to call this one, just create a title for this one, Google Docs. All right, it would help if I can spell today here, and I'm going to hit return twice here. Now, there's a couple things you can do here. First of all, you can go to normal text. You've got one that says title, and where this really plays a part is if you're going to make like an EPUB file, which is going to be something like a digital book or something like that. You can do that. If you click on title, you'll notice it actually even throws this over here, which will be helpful later on. You can change this if you want. You can always go over here to Arial, change this around. So if you want to go through all the different documentation that you have, you can do this as well. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind for a second. Now, if we're going to make some sort of paper here, I'm going to make this a little larger because we're going to make more or less like a little book here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Insert, and over here there's a break. So if I go to a page break, what that will do is it now allows me to have a new page. Okay, now this looks a little funny if you see this up here. Don't worry about this because again, when we set this up, this is more or less going to look like a EPUB file if you want it to look like that. So again, if I want, you're going to add a bunch of returns to this behind, you can go that route if you want to. Okay, now on the second page here, I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Table of Contents. So on this one, I'm just going to have a Table of Contents. Now, you're going to note, right now, there's absolutely nothing there. And there shouldn't be anything there because we have nothing in our Table of Contents yet at all. So again, I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Page Break again. And now, on this page, this is where I'm going to actually title some things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to call this one Chapter 1. All right, and we'll call this one The Basics. All right, that sounds like a nice title for a book. So over here, I'll highlight this, and now I've got a actual heading. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to call this one Heading 1. And now, if you look up here, if I refresh this here, and I'll refresh that, you'll see now it tells me that The Basics is on page 3. And it is on page 3. So now I've got normal text over here. So there's a couple things. Let's go through this. First of all, if I, what else should I show you here? Here are some sample fonts. Okay, now, for instance, if I wanted to go through here, I can bold this font. Okay, you can see you have that one. I can also actually change the actual font itself. So if I want, I could say this is this nice little font here, change this around. You can highlight individual words, you can highlight whole sections of this. But again, if I move this to over here on this side, this is more or less going to have an input into the things that's changing inside our table of contents. Okay, so be kind of careful with those things. Okay, but you can kind of change the fonts, and you can even, if you go right here to more fonts, you can add tons and tons and tons of fonts that you want. So you can kind of go through here if they've got tons. So just any type of font that you're looking for, you can look for it. And just realize if you click on this one, so if I want Roboto in there, I can hit OK. And now you'll see Roboto is now a font. And you saw that a second ago, but I'll move it down here. And now I have Roboto. So I can change that over there as well. Okay, so you've got that. Now, let's go here. I'm going to insert another page break. And if I go too fast, feel free. You can look at this as many times as you want because it's a video. I'm going to call this one adding tables. All right, so on this one, I'm going to highlight this one again, and you're going to see I've got a heading again. So I've got this, and now if I refresh this again, now I've got adding tables. Okay, now there's a couple things you can do with this. So first of all, let me show you with the table aspect. If I go to insert table, I can kind of change a couple things around. So right now I just want this to be, I'll do a 2x2. Okay, so I've got this. Now, a couple of ways people do this. I'm going to say this one, I'm going to call this one dues. No, what do I want to call this one? Fun activities. And I'll call this one not fun activities. All right, now, a couple things. You're going to notice that there is, before I tell you this, they do have a column now where you can kind of set this up. But if you want to add 2 columns just on a second page or a section of this one, what you can do is you'll notice that when I click on this, right now my coloring is black. But if I remove this or move this to white, you'll notice that it almost looks like it's disappearing. And we're going to use this to our benefit here in a second. So on this one, I'm going to actually make 2 little bullet points here. I'm going to say not fun activities. How about cleaning the bathroom? Taking out the trash. Changing diapers. That's a fun one here. All right, not fun. Let's see, playing a game. Whatever, you can do it, playing an instrument. You're catching on to this one. Now, you'll notice over here, this looks a little off. Okay, now notice I have nothing highlighted. I just literally have this section over here. If I click on this, that's going to move this into the middle of that little table. So I'm going to do that over here just to kind of clean this up. And I'm going to do this over here. Click on this one, make this one white as well. And I'm going to do that over here. So I'm just clicking on all of these little boxes that I've got. And I'm going to make all of this white. And when we're done with this, you're going to see that this more or less is going to look like we wanted 2 bullet points in here. Okay, or sorry, not 2 bullet points, 2 columns. All right. If you cannot tell, I'm making this up on the fly, so hopefully you are catching on to this. If you have questions, let me know as well. Okay, and got 3 more little clicks here. If I can get this little column right here to highlight, there we go. All right, and let's go over here. All right, so now, next thing we're going to do, insert another break, and then we'll end this video here shortly. And I'm going to call this one Chapter 3, Adding Media. All right, so on this one, I'm going to go here one more time, go to my heading. There we go, got that little section set up. And now, if you go to insert, there's a couple things you can do. First of all, I can insert a media. So if I want it, I could actually go here. If I have photos, I can go here. I can insert things from my drive. I can even search the web. So for instance, I'm going to type in cat. No, let's type in coronavirus. There we go. Oops. There we go. And voila. So I've got this one. I like this image. We're going to throw this in here. Okay, and we'll just drop this one in over here. And there we go. Just waiting for it to show up. Now, I've got this little image in there. You can go that route. You can always insert anything from your drive as well. You go the same route with it as well. Okay, so that is a couple little things you can do. You can also notice on this one, if I have text to the side of this, and I probably should have done this before. Okay, actually that's not what I want to do. Okay, I'll hit return. Okay. I'm just going to copy this a bunch of times. Actually, I should have done this a couple times here like this. Okay, I just want you to get a general idea. All right, so there's a bunch of random text here, correct? Okay, now if I try to drag this picture, I can't really do it the way I really want it to go. So on the bottom of this, you're going to notice there's three options here. There's one called wrap text. So I'm going to kind of scale this down. So if you need to scale things down, hold down shift, click on the corner of these little handlebars right here, and you can kind of move this in. Okay, if I have this set up right now as wrap text, you're going to see, I'm going to make this slightly smaller. What this will do is it literally wraps the text around the image. Okay, and if I had this even smaller, I'll try getting it right here in the middle. Okay, you're going to see it actually moves all the way across. Now, if I hit break text, what that does is it basically kind of cuts out the corners of it and kind of puts the text around there. So you've got different options on how you want to go around this. Okay, so those are the very, very extreme basics of Google Docs so far.